What's good? What's good? What's good? Here for a short devotional this week. Um, 1 Corinthians, 15th chapter. I think it's like the last verse, maybe verse 58. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've just been meditating on it all week. Be ye steadfast, unmovable, ever abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain. My encouragement for you is that it is not in vain. You serving God, you trust in God, you believe in God, you standing on his promises, you living for him, you going to church every Sunday, you having a relationship with him is not in vain, and that he's faithful to his promises. He really is. And you walk in the manifestation of his promises as soon as you decide to trust him. You really do. Because his promise is that you would trust him. So the fact that you even get to a point where you decide to trust God is a manifestation of his faithfulness to you. And that is not in vain. When I say it's not in vain, it's not useless. It's not worthless. So many times we think that our walk with God or the power of God in our life doesn't have any effect, or us being a Christian, am I really making a difference? Am I really having an effect? Does this thing work? Does it even work on me? Am I fully persuaded? Do I fully trust God? Is this just a hill of beans? Does this work? Do I really believe this? Is all of this going to church, doing ministry, trusting God, isn't in vain? Didn't the Clark sister say that? Is my living in vain? And my encouragement to you is that it is not. It is not. Whatever a man soweth, that he shall reap. Keep sowing into your walk with God. Keep sowing into your trust with God. Be steadfast. That means be loyal. Be unmovable. That means be planted. When the storms of life come, you may bend, but you won't break because you're planted. Ever abounding. That means to always be growing in God, be multiplying, expanding yourself in him, knowing that your work for him is not in vain. So that's my encouragement to you. And because it's not in vain, expect the great. Expect nothing but great things from God, especially as we wind down these last 2 months of the year, last few weeks of the year. Expect nothing but great things from God. Elevate your expectations. Elevate your expectations and know that God is faithful to his word. For the promises of God are yea and amen. It is not in vain. The enemy is a liar. Do not let him fool you into thinking that the God we serve won't deliver on his word. He will. He will. So whatever you're believing God for, whatever instructions God is giving you, take them serious. Don't second guess it, because it's not in vain. You trust in God. You believe in God. You standing on the promises of God is not in vain. It is not worthless, but it is powerful. It has power. It has the ability to change your life. It really does. It has the ability to turn your world upside down. What you thought would have taken you out will be a stepping stone for you. That's how powerful God is. That's how powerful he can make ways out of no ways. He really can. We serve a mighty God. We serve an awesome God. So yeah, that's just my encouragement to you. Don't let your heart be troubled. Don't let it be troubled. Be encouraged in God. Be consistent in God. Be consistent in your walk with God. And he is faithful to his promise. He who promised is faithful to perform it. Okay? Remember, I cannot say it enough. Your work, your life in God, You being a believer is not in vain. But the harvest is now. You will reap everything that God has promised you. And just because you don't have it yet doesn't mean that it's not going to come to pass. It will come to pass. Confess that over your life every day. It will come to pass. I know I don't feel it. I know my flesh don't want to believe it, but I choose to allow my spirit to take the lead, and I believe God. And everything he has promised me, it will come to pass. Let that be your confession. I hope this bless you. You guys have an amazing Thanksgiving holiday. Love y'all.